Good evening and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, and good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Tonight you've been joined by myself, GB, and on the show with me is young Robert. How are we doing, Robert?
Still hurting, mate, but I'm getting there, and there's a big game tomorrow to hopefully nullify the pain.
True, mate, true. And we'll dive into that. While we're waiting there, we'll introduce our next guest, and putting the Slim into Slim Shady is our Port. How are we doing, Port?
Very good, mate. Aye, very good, mate. Aye, great to be on. A hurtful weekend, a bit of dent in our sort of comeback of the season where after Clement's come in, and we got a title race all of a sudden, and then we come a sort of juddering halt, mate, where, to use Philip Clement's words, a team unrecognisable under the current manager, mate.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it was... Lads, I think the way we'll kind of set it up is I want to get your kind of thoughts on the weekend there, just a kind of overview. We have obviously got the game tomorrow, so we'll hear from our manager, and just like I says, we'll maybe touch on the fixtures as well. That sound good to you?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah.
Cool. Right, I'll come with yourself first, then, Robert. As Port says, big shock at the weekend there. I honestly thought after the Old Firm game that it might have gave them a wee bit of a lift with the comeback, but again, I know there was a bit of upheaval with the game getting called off with Dundee again, but I says they should be ready for this game against Ross County. It should have been a far better performance than what we all expected there.
Definitely, mate, and I think that's what's most disappointing is it was a performance against a team who's fighting for survival in the Premier League. It's not a team that's near the top, something to play for, top six or anything. It was a team fighting for their lives, essentially, to stay in the division. And again, the preparation somewhat can play an impact, but we heard Clement that they were ready to play Dundee on the Wednesday or the Thursday, so they were more than ready to play this game, mate. And we've made it hard for ourselves. I don't think it's over. I still believe there's points to be won and dropped elsewhere, but certainly made it hard for ourselves, and it wasn't the greatest game of football from us, and I think Ox summed it up last night where we've played one good half over the last two games. So this is a stage of a season where you can't slip up in these games, so you need to take your chances and be consistent, because this is the games where you can lose a title. May not win it, but you can certainly lose it.
Port, for me, it was a sticky start of the game, and I was glad of the 1-0, the first goal for us, and I thought, well, that's us. We've kind of settled. We've had that shaky time. We've got the goal now. A bit of a lucky break for us, but again, now that will settle the team. And to be honest, after that, Port, I thought we would have went and strolled it, but we didn't. We ended up caving, and we actually, Ross County, full credit to them. They came at Rangers, and they showed the application that I was expecting Rangers to show against a team.
Well, both teams are at crucial parts of the season. You've got one team who are going out there to, get number 56 on the board. Should have been fighting for their season to be a dream season, and go and chase a title down. It was in our hands. With an amazing turnaround of a team since the manager's come in, Philip Clement. A team that we would never have said, guys, at the very start of the season, we were in a title race because we were so far behind at one point. The manager's come in, he transformed that team, made us one of the, in his reign, one of the most defensively sound teams in the league. In the last two games, we conceded 6. I say it, Gary, the team's unrecognisable in the last two games for me. They lacked, passion, they lacked drive. Again, that walking paced football. Too many touches in midfield for me at times, and then at other times looking for that long ball over the top. When there's no, complete missing out the midfield, not trying to play through Ross County. And to be fair, if we're really brutally honest, Ross County, the two best chances probably before we even decided to make a chance, with the young boy Heron at left back, missed 2 sitters. So we got a Gio Free, like as you say, we got the OG from Baldwin. And then, as you said, I thought we were going to kick on, mate. I thought, right, this is it. We've been given a lifeline here. An own goal, we've not created nothing, but let's go and just, get another one and see this game and get down the road. And I tell you, mate, that team showed the way we should be playing. They're fighting for their lives in relegation, so that's their goal. That was their cup final. They've got 6 cup finals to go to the end of the season, and so is Rangers now, Gary. They've got 6 cup finals in the league to go and win that and to basically get that title back to Ibrox, mate.
Robert, the thing about it all is, and Port touched on it there with Ross County. Ross County came out and we are kind of will to win. I didn't see it all day for Rangers, and I can't understand it because we're at this stage of the season where it's like every game's a cup final. So why have they not got the hunger to go and press on and grab this title? I think to be fair, Robert, that's us now. I think we've played the last get out of jail card. I thought the last get out of jail card was Motherwell, and maybe Celtic to a certain extent, but that at the weekend there, that's the last one. There's no more leeway in this title race now.
No, there's not, mate. And we've grown over the months to understand about the word mentality that Clement's been using, and we did see a massive change in the players' belief, mentality and confidence. But as you said, the weekend there, and even going back to Neil Firm, it seemed to be going backwards rather than forwards, especially at a pivotal stage of the season, as you say. So I think that's the most concerning, is that we aren't recognisable in these 2 games, and we're kind of going that backward step of, as Port Bear says, the slow pedestrian football. It's not attacking, trying to kill the game early and make it easy for ourselves and get down the road and get the points on the board. We're doing it the most difficult way that we can be imagined, but certainly there is no slip-ups from here on in. And I think that's, as I said, the get out of jail card, it has been used. There is no other lifeline. And we know the fixtures, they come out today as well, so we know what we've got, we know who we're facing, and we can go and beat these teams that we've got in this top 6, this split. But we know that teams can also take points around the rest of the game. So it's important we focus on ourselves and get back to a performance that is recognised by ourselves first tomorrow night, and of course the points on the board. So we need to get it back the way it was. But as a lot of fans have said previously, mate, these players have got it in them to use the term bottle merchants. These are the big games where you need to stand up and be counted. In the past 2 games, there's very few that have been. So that shows a real mentality, and it may actually show Clement as well what he actually needs to do in the summer.
But before I obviously come at you, I know you've got the kind of fixture list there. Just for Bayfies, kind of again, just to finish off the weekend, because I do want us to kind of move on and focus on the more, because again, there's nothing we can do about the weekend, but overall, our manager has to take some criticism. I'm firmly still on the Clement train. I want this guy because I can see that. I mean, there's been periods at this time of the season where you can just see that, like I says, he's got quality. He knows how to manage the team. But lads, overall, do you think, like I says, the manager's new? I think Ox has said the kind of honeymoon period's over. I think the kind of sunshine lollipops period's over, in the sense that I think the manager maybe got sucked into a false sense of security with this team, and it's maybe been a good thing in the sense that he knows that he still needs to kind of what's the word? He's got to learn about this team and know who he wants to take going forward. Is that fair? Robert, I'll go to you first, and then we'll touch on Port with these fixtures.
Yeah, certainly more than fair. The expectation of these players has been high since he has come in, but these are the kind of games in the period where he'll focus on who's performed and who hasn't, and who stood up and who's delivered. As you say, the honeymoon period, it could have been gone a few months ago when we dropped points in Europe to Limassol, a 1-1 draw at Ibrox. You could have said it was over then, but we gave him the doubt of still early in terms of the squad available to us, injuries and whatnot. I think personally, GB, when you say you get sucked into the sense of security, it's the rotation as well. There was players there. I think it was 4 changes at the weekend from the Old Firm. Seamer obviously starting, rightfully so. But I was surprised that Matondo didn't start as well. And then Barisic at left back when you've got Sterling on the bench. One of the most informed players that's been this season and under Clement, especially since he came in. When you've got players like that on the bench in these games where you need to go and get the points, that's where I question the kind of team selection. Again, I'm still backing Clement. I still think he's going to be successful. He'll make mistakes. There will be bumps, as he says. But we need to be careful where these mistakes are made. We can't be making any more this season, mate.
Port, you just want to add to that, mate, and I'll get you to read the fixtures as well. Just, I think... Are you on, mate? Sorry?
Basically, I think Clement's... they're making his job easier, Gary, in regards to the summer. I think he's finding out over the last 2 games in particular, and there has been other... I still don't believe that Rangers have put in a full 90 minutes together this season. I'm going to go so as far to say I've even seen a 60-minute game at them, an hour, where they've really, grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck and really stepped in the throat at any team we've played. We've done it in stops and starts. We've done it in parts of games, but we've not completed, in my opinion, a 90-minute game, mate. And I think, for a team that he's turned around and transformed and players that we thought were well and truly out the door, to get the reaction he got when he came in, like I touched on earlier on. And he's probably thinking, God, maybe it's not as bad as I thought, and maybe the team doesn't need the surgery in the summer that I think. But I think over the last 2 games in particular, mate, I think he's realised, maybe that's not going to be the case. Now, remember, we've got guys in the final months of their contracts. I'm not saying that played a part in any of the last 2 games, mate, but I don't think it's helped the squad at all. And that's one thing that Clement touched on. In his reign, mate, and I'm right behind Clement, by the way. I still think this guy's a class manager. I really do. Just hasn't got the tools in his box yet. But what I will say, lads, is I think his mind's been made up very, very quickly, and he's realising who he can trust and who he can't trust for the next big season. His complete summer rebuild. It won't be complete, but the start of his rebuild on Rangers. And I don't think we can really judge Clement until he gets more of his own players through the door. And these guys are off the wage bill that obviously their contracts are coming to an end anyway. So, but that money will be freed up for our manager to spend, mate. So certainly, I think, these guys, it's a reaction for me tomorrow night, boys. I think the reaction has to be massive. They owe it to all them travelling fans, they owe it to themselves, and they need to get this title race back on track. And again, let's get the pressure on them across the road. Because we slipped up on a chance to keep the throat, our foot on their throat, and we let them off again, guys. So this doesn't help. It's amazing when you're looking over your shoulder and a team's chasing you till you're on the reverse. And I think I was hoping we were going to flip that, guys, and have them looking over their shoulder and have them with the pressure. But we've just handed it straight back to them and put a bit of pressure on ourselves now.
Aye, and thanks for that, boys. Because it's like I said, it's honest opinions there, and I think the 2 years they touch on good and bad parts, like Clement and the team in there. And Port, I think you made a good point there that, like I says, it's going to be the pressure. I think sometimes Rangers seem to do better when they're chasing for some reason. You know what I mean? So, since we're kind of getting to that bit with the fixtures, Port, can you just read out the fixtures and that, and then it gives the listeners a kind of a general overview in case they've not seen it, and what we're going to be expecting now with these, it's going to be 6 cup finals coming up here? Port?
Yeah, mate. Basically what was announced today was the post-split Scottish Premiership fixtures. And basically Rangers will kick off that post-split away to St Mirren Sunday, April the 28th. After that we've got Sunday the 5th of May, Kilmarnock at home at 1 PM. Saturday 11th, away to Celtic at 12:30. Tuesday, May the 14th, Dundee at home, a 7:30 kick-off, so a late one that night. And then Saturday, May the 18th, it's Hearts away. So Hearts at Tynecastle at 12:30, mate. So it's thrown up some tricky away ties, some tricky home ties as well. But like you touched on, mate, that's 5 cup finals, mate, in my opinion.
And the 6-1 in Mora, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the one, Robert, the one that kind of obviously jumps out and everybody will be looking at is obviously the Celtic game. So we're talking it's going to be a couple of games into the split, right in the middle. Probably sets up nicely, Robert, in a sense. Like it's going to be kind of winner takes all at that point, I think.
It's the first one you look at, mate, where you would say it's do or die for the title. But for us, there's 3 games, and for them, there's 2 games before that it could impact what happens at that game. So, as much as the focus will be on that one, we have to do the old cliche of 1 game at a time. And our starts tomorrow night at Dundee, where, as Port Bear says, we need to get the performance back and reward the fans. It's the 3rd time they've travelled, so go and give the guys that are going there a performance in the 3 points that should have been in the bag a few weeks ago.
Aye. Again, no point is Port. There's no point is looking at the fixtures unless we go out and do the business tomorrow. You know what I mean? And we've got to go out and grab this game in hand, and then we can sit back and say, right, we're a point behind, and we've got to now focus and drive for this title. And I think as us fans, again, there's not much we can do about the weekend. We need to dust ourselves down, and we've got to back this run in. I think Port.
No, it's gone, mate. The weekend's gone. You know, to coin a phrase, they effed up. You know, they've got to own that. They have to own that, mate, and they have to go and show themselves to we look in the mirror. You know, maybe they thought, you know, this was it. They were plain sailing, just going, you know, win these remaining games, and the title's coming back home. You know, and maybe a bit of complacency set in. I'm not sure. I can't quite put my finger on it. There's a lot of wee sort of things that have come up in my mind, you know, like I touched on earlier on about, you know, guys and the remaining months of their contract, so maybe their mind's already made up, they're out the door, and maybe the application's not been quite there. I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on it. I think it may be a mixture of a lot of wee things, but certainly tomorrow night, as I said, the reaction for me, mate, has to be, you know, same sort of attitude as Ross County, mate. It has to be, it's a must. We have to. It's not that we need to. We have to go out there and, you know, put a result together by hook or by crook, mate. I still don't really care if the performance is not there. I just want the 3 points, guys. At this time of the season, that's all I want is 3 points on the board, and just keep ticking these games off, mate.
I like that bit, mate. You just said that's it. It's done. We go and we move on, and I think that just sets us up nicely now to hear from our manager. So if you get yourselves on mute, we're going to hear from our manager, Big Phil.
Philippe, we've just had the news that the game will be taking place at Dens Park. What's your initial reaction to that?
That the people who decided that are sure that there will be a game tomorrow. So that's a very positive thing.
Are there no further concerns from you? We've seen, you know, in the last game that it was given the go-ahead at 11 o'clock and then in a later pitch inspection.
No, I'm not the guy from the half-full glass or the empty glass. So I think everybody knows and everybody knew also about taking this decision, how it's now processed, how it was prepared, that the people who decided to play tomorrow at Dens Park, it's 200% sure we're going to play there. So they know the weather forecast probably, and they're certain that the pitch will cope with that. So it's good. It's good for us also to know where we will play, how we can prepare that, and it's now go ahead for this game. I think everybody, people from Dundee, people from Rangers, are happy that finally we can play this game.
Yeah, is it quite good to be able to put that whole saga behind you and full focus now on the game?
Yeah, of course, because we don't have anything to say or to do with that. We can only focus on ourselves and on our football. So we had some work to do with that also after the weekend, of course, where we were not happy. How we played, how we conceded goals, how we missed also a few really good chances, and because of that we lost points. So all the focus has been on that.
What's the reaction been like from the players following the weekend, and you know, are you convinced that you'll get that reaction you're looking for tomorrow night?
Yeah, they were very disappointed in themselves. They were, and that's a positive thing. They understood. They went to the fans also. I think it's a big step forward. In the past, they just stepped inside. It stayed together in that way, and that's a very important point from my side also, that it stays like that. Also in the disappointment that you stay together. And they were down after the game about the performance. We had the next day, I had some clear words after the game, and the next day we made a good debriefing about what went wrong, individually, collectively, and how we can make it better again. It's, in French they say, accident de parcours, off day, I think you say in English. We can call it like that. It's the first time in 6 months that I see my team like that. So I was disappointed also about that. But I think every manager has these moments, even with teams that win amazing things. I've been watching now this series about the treble of Man City of last year, and I saw quite a few of those moments in this docu. Doesn't mean that I want to see it back on Wednesday, of course, but it's part of the game. It's not something that you want, not the players, not the manager, not the fans, nobody. But the most important thing is how you react after that. And I have a good feeling around that, so that I will see the real face of my team again tomorrow.
Philippe, you said it's an off day, but if you look at your recent results, drop points at home to Motherwell, drop points at home to Celtic and Ross County. Is that a concern at this stage of the season?
No, because Motherwell was a freak accident. That could have been a game that you win 6-1. We had enough chances there, and there was an unlucky day. Celtic game, it's a big game. We didn't start well, we talked about that, but we had a great reaction and we played a really good second half. And I think at the end that the draw is deserved because each team had one half. Totally. We had totally the second half, and we had the last chance also to win that game. But this one was a bad one. That's true. So you need to react and show better quality.
Are you someone then that when players aren't performing to the levels that you expect, I mean, you've changed your team before just on squad rotation, but were players' positions at risk as a result of that performance?
At risk is such a negative word. Of course, I can change things, and it's always looking what is the best team for that moment, and also with the games to come. So that's something that fans not always understand, because they always want to play with the best at that moment. But if you play with the best who comes out of injury, for example, and he plays 3 games in a row, you know the second game you get less, and the last game you don't get anything anymore at one moment. So we need to take in account all those things, the physical ability of the players, and that's been the most difficult thing last couple of months, that we had so many players out, now coming back also out of injury. But you see players coming back out of injury, that the first time it's really good, second time it can be already a little bit less, because they're less fresh and they need to find this rhythm again. That takes time also. So we need to take all these things in account to every time pick the best starting team, and also players coming in with freshness to win games.
Do you have any players returning? Mohamed, Ridvan?
No, Ridvan not returning, and Mohamed not. I hope to have him back for the Cup semi-final, but he will not be ready for tomorrow. And Liam Balogun was sick last couple of days, so he's still not totally fit.
Philippe, how is Ridvan? Is he any closer to being back on the pitch?
Yeah, it's closer day by day, but those are the frustrating things of this season also, that you have Abda going to national team, getting an injury there and being almost 3 months out, and with Ridvan the same thing, not in an amount of time, but we lose him already 3-4 weeks now with a severe injury. So those are frustrating things, but it's about others then to do the job and to take the points like that.
you conceded maybe more chances than we've been used to seeing your team concede away in Dingwall. Do you think that was just a case of it being an off day?
Yeah, but it had to do with structure, organization. It had to do with so much will to attack and to make the difference that we forget to do our basics. So we talked about that. We didn't do our basics anymore. We didn't show our structure, what's been our strong point all season. And because of that, we were also the team who conceded the least goals, although we played attacking football. So, sometimes you need a knock on your head to remind you again what you need to do to be strong, and not only to think about the fine details, but to stay in your foundation. And it was with goodwill, with good intention, but we lost our structure in that way. And like this, we conceded, goals were for sure avoidable.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yep, that's it, folks. Let's just give us a wee call, or let's just put your questions into the socials, and we'll try and pick them up, and we'll put them around the boys that's on the panel tonight. Come with yourself first, Robert. Another good presser with the manager. I think he's pretty honest about it, and he seems a wee bit more upbeat. It seems that they've had that kind of clear the air talks, and they sound as if they're going to be focused and ready for tomorrow, mate.
Certainly sounds that way, mate. But obviously the action and reaction speaks louder than words, so we need to wait and see how the players perform. As Portbell said, it's the performance and the reaction now that they need to show. The manager's not going to change the way he delivers a team talk or a press conference. He's going to see it the way it is. It's down to the players now to go and deliver. As much as we could say the managers selected these players, at the end of the day, it's the players that are on the park that cross that white line. So they need to go and show the manager that they're there for him, they're there for us. And he's not going to change that way. So it's another press conference where it's becoming the norm to get used to these answers. I like the point where he said that the players went to the fans, they stuck together. He was that raging up the tunnel. He didn't go. So it shows you that there was disappointment from him. But I think that's because he didn't recognise the players. The players didn't live up to his expectations or his instructions. So if they've had the clear the air debrief, it is good to hear. But I'm a bit concerned that it's an off day. That doesn't sit right with me. There is no off days at Rangers. You can't have an off day. You're foot to the pedal, you're going for titles, you're chasing cups. There is no off days for me. We've had one at Motherwell and we got somewhat of a reaction there. But this is the big part now. So to call this another off day, I think we've used that too many times, as you say, the get out of jail card.
Aye, I think, mate, you're right, and I think as well that bit about the players going up to applaud the fans and stuff like that. Clement was letting them face the music, I think, as well, because he obviously went up the tunnel. I think he was like, I'm not going to be coming ways for that one. Usually way to go up and that's to show your appreciation yourselves, because as you're looking at that crowd, Robert, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the fans that were shouting back, man, you didn't want to get too close if you were a player that day. But granted, maybe they need, like he says, they're not going to heed. Maybe the fans giving them that kind of rhythm and roar against them with the loss and stuff like that. Maybe it made them realise that they need to do better. They need to be more awake and ready for it. Robert?
It's like you said earlier on, mate. Maybe in a sense, it's a good thing that's happened because you can see the players for what they are. It's the timing of when that happens. And as I said, it's a crucial part of the season. So if you're going to take a knock to the head or an off day, it needs to happen in the early stage of a season. And that's when you can assess your squad. I know he's been dealt with the squad that he's got. He's brought in Diomande, Silva, Cortez obviously get the injury. So he's got a squad that he's been dealt with. He's not had a major impact. That will come during the summer. The only concern that I've got when it comes to that point of the summer is doing too big a rebuild might be too much too soon, and that could have a dampening as well. So he will know who's going to be here, who's not going to be here. But it's down to the players now for me. The knock on the head, take it, but not at this point in the season for me, mate.
Well said, mate. Port Bear, your thoughts, mate, on the manager's interview, bud?
I think first and foremost, mate, you know, when he mentions about the debrief, you know, I could wholly imagine there was a few choice words, mate, between the manager, probably between the playing staff as well, because it's only my opinion, mate, but for me, when you're playing at Rangers and you're trying to close in on a title, that performance, mate, isn't acceptable. Not at this stage of the season. And they've done, you know, we've praised them on this show for the turnaround. We've given them so much praise. GB, Robert, we've given them so much praise that it concerned me the way the teams have been playing lately. And what I mean by that is, mate, you know, if you look at the way we've been setting up, I couldn't even really see a formation at the weekend, guys. I thought, you know, we were looking at it and we're like, I'm looking, you know, as much as unrecognisable playing, I didn't really understand the formation. And that concerned me because I thought, well, he's obviously given instruction. Have they followed his instruction through? You know, so I think maybe that was one of the discussions that he's obviously had with his squad, and as I said, you know, rightly so. But then, as Robert touched on, you know, the Motherwell game, you know, they say there would be bumps in the road. I get that, but we can't have bumps in the road at this stage of the season, guys. We just can't. But, you know, it's still in our hands mathematically. We win every game from now at the end of the season. We win the league. You know, it's as simple as that. But unfortunately, I think there's a wee bit of distrust between the fans at the moment, and that some of that playing squad. And I think maybe the managers now getting a wee sort of look at it, and rightly so. Get it, you touched on in regards to sending the players round to the fans, because sometimes they deserve that rollicking they got. GB, I seen it. I seen it, and I think they fully deserved what they got from the fans, because, you know, it should mean as much to them as it means to us. Going out on that pitch, you know, blood, tears, snotters, the whole lot. I want to see them. Yeah, that's what I want to see after this team for the rest of this, you know, the rest of this campaign. I want to see blood and thunder. I want to see them getting tore in and shown that they want it, they mean it. You know, they're desperate. The way Ross County were at the weekend, they're desperate by any means necessary. We will win this title, and I still believe, Gary, we're capable of doing it.
No, I'm with you, mate. With you 100%. What I say is that I said even before the Old Firm, win every game and draw the Old Firm and we're champions. Unfortunately, that side it's been taken away from me. But as it stands now, there's no clearer picture now that what it says. We've got 6 games, 6 wins. I would think that we should treat it more like the kind of Europa League. Now that the kind of run to Seville, I mean, it should be that kind of way that we know that the big trophy's waiting at the end of this, and we just go out and we treat every game as if it's a must. Well, it has to be a must win, but we just go out and treat it the exact same way, give 110%, and we just keep smashing after teams, and we get to that final game of the season, and that's where we're technically picking up a big trophy, what we should have done with Seville. We should have picked up the Europa League, but in this case, I'm hoping that we get to that final game and we pick up the title.
It's what we all want. It's what we all envisage, and as Port Bear says, it's down to the players to have that same hunger as the fans in the stadium and the fans watching at home. If you're a player at Rangers and you're not spurred on by the prospect of winning a league title in the next 6 games, you shouldn't be here. And that doesn't matter if you're captain, vice captain, 5 years contract, 6 months contract, whatever. If you are not spurred on and are not excited about the challenge of winning a league title, having dominance over a rival by winning a league, still on course for a treble, then you shouldn't be there and you shouldn't be playing the game. It's about the mindset and the approach from each individual to make a collective team. And as it is 6 cup finals, play the game like it's your last. Play the game like you're leaving it all in the park. It's all you can ask. And if the players aren't up to that, then for me, you shake your hands and you say goodbye at the end of the season, regardless of who you are.
Mm-hmm. Aye, no, I think that managers, he said that in his interview, Port, that Like, it's not so much that the players need to watch what they're doing, but he's still been assessing this squad, and he'll know that come the end of the season, no matter what, he'll need to reassess it and see where he needs to strengthen in the squad. And just kind of back to the game the more night, that the manager, as much as we would love to drop a lot of that kind of senior players, the senior leader players in the squad, the manager can't be too gun-ho with it. I think he mentioned he's got to pick the team that's right for the game. And I think, like I says, the more night we might see some of these players back in the squad, like Tav, Golson and Lundstrom. But they're very, very lucky, because these are the positions that are kind of hard to fill. I know people could say we'd chuck in Sterling, you put on, well, we can't put in Baldwin because he's been said that he's been sick, but like I says, Lundstrom, man, after this, think the manager's got to go away as it stands now, because it's so close to the end of the season. He's just got to go away what they tried and so-called trusted, because as we've seen at the start of the season, or near the middle of the season, we can't. Well, the manager wasn't scared to drop a player if they weren't performing. But I think the manager's in a position now where he can't do that. I think he needs to hold the squad together to see us through these last 6 games. Up there.
Aye, indeed, mate. I think in regards to the Campbell situation, he was starting to get a bit of quality around that area. If you remember, there's players coming back for injury that could, get into that position. So it was sort of a bit easier to drop Cantwell, but arguably Goldson's seen as your senior centre half, so pretty much undroppable. That's the way it comes across to us as fans. Tav's the captain again, seems to be pretty much undroppable. But instead of just focusing on them, I think after the weekend, mate, if we had the quality in the squad, we wouldn't be surprised if we changed all 10 outfield players. And I'm going to leave the keeper out of that, because the keeper's, he's done his part. I keep saying that. There's one guy that's a 9 or a 10 every week for me, and it's Big Butland. But the rest of them, over the last few weeks, mate, you wouldn't be surprised at times. Even at half time at the weekend, mate, I wouldn't be surprised if he made 3 or 4 changes at half time. That's how much that squad needed a boot up the backside. I just think going forward, mate, to tomorrow night, I think on a positive note, at least the game's at Dens Park, so there's no any going to another stadium, a bit of upheaval, which we wouldn't have wanted either. I think the gauntlet's been thrown down. This we're game in hand. Gary, it's imperative, mate. We cannot afford anything less tomorrow night than 3 points by any way means necessary. I don't care how it's done. I don't care if we Ricochet steps in and puts it in the net. I don't care, as long as the 3 points and we don't let that game in hand slip, mate, because we don't want to hand them any more impetus at all. We don't want to hand them anything else. We've given them, we're basically letting them into a race that I thought was only going one direction, mate, if I'm totally honest. But I think first and foremost, I said it earlier on, the character, the attitude, the application has to be on point tomorrow night, mate. They have to fight and scrap for absolutely everything, mate. The question is, do they want it? That's what I'd be saying to them at beginning of the game. How much do you want it? Go and show me and show the fans. I think it's easy. An easy team talk for me, mate. Easy.
Aye, 100%. I think, like you say, just got to go with the right attitude, Robert, and let's apply ourselves, because again, we're a far better squad than Ross County. We're a far better team than Dundee. But again, the more Dundee are already in the top 6, so it's a free hit for them. So they can go out and put their full effort into this game, and they might see the joy and maybe upsetting our season. Maybe that'll be the target the more out the game, that they damage us the more, because of everything that's maybe came with all the baggage of this pitch and all the rest of it. Maybe they'll be out to put a wee dent in their season more. And again, Rangers need to be ready for that, Robert.
They do. It's all outside noise, GB. Everything around the game itself, where it was McDermott Park, Dens Park last week, this week, it's all noise around it. The main focus is 8 PM tomorrow night when that ball kicks off, and we've got to go from the get-go. I mean, the Old Firm game, we lost a goal within 22 seconds. Ross County will lost a goal early on in the second half. We need to be switched on from the get-go. And as you said, the application of the players needs to be right up there and ready for it. It will be a bit of a battle, as you said. Dundee, they'll have a buzz about being in the top 6. They will probably aim to be higher if they can. I've not checked their points, if they can go 5th or whatever. But for them, that's an achievement. But they'll not stop there. They'll want a bit more. And they'll see that we are hurting. And they want, as you say, to impact more damage to that. So it is about reaction, application, as much as the 3 points as well. It almost is a level par tomorrow night. And as Port says, nothing short than a win, because it is anything less than that, it's a real uphill task. And we're then having to rely and focus on others and maybe not ourselves. And that's when it becomes an issue, especially in a title race. If we look after ourselves, we'll be all right.
Aye, great points, the two of you. It's a phone-in show. We need you to call in and make the show. It's like I says, it's your platform to air your points. Tell us what your thoughts are about the team. What you think about the fixture list. Is it favourable to us, or are you a bit miffed to where we're going for these away fixtures? Give us a call, 0141 356 in 1972. I think we've got another part to the manager's interview to come as well, so I'll get Fox to tee that up for us, lads, and we can get our kind of thoughts on that. But Port, just back to the Mora, pitch has been passed as playable as it stands now, so we're going up there to that pitch. So again, no excuses. No matter what's put in front of us, we just have to go out. And I think some players have to show that Ross County was just a once-off, that they are really up for this fight for this title.
Aye, indeed, mate. As I said, in preparation terms, I think it's great the game's on at Dundee's Park. We know it's not the best. It's a totty field, but I don't want to hear excuses, Gary, about pitches and weather. And all I want to see is my team show up, fight as hard as the other team, and what should always come out in the top at the very end. Cream always rises, mate. The quality in your squad that we definitely have, and they've shown us in previous games to get themselves back into this title race and from the start, get-go, and then have that great run of the Clement to where we're at now. We were now second-guessing, not the manager, by the way, we're second-guessing this squad, letting the manager down. And have they got the character and the balls, mate, if I'm going to put it straight, have they got the balls to go there tomorrow night and play them off the pitch and fight as hard as them, mate? I've just got to put it honestly, brutally, guy. That's all. That's what I want to see tomorrow night. And as I say, cream always rises. That's what I want to see, because our quality should therefore win the battle, mate, and then let the quality take over. But we can't keep giving these teams a goal start or let them get in toppies where they're having more possession than us, they're out fighting us, they're out thinking us. That shouldn't happen, mate. That shouldn't happen. I'm sick to death of giving up teams, giving up possession, all that sort of stuff. It has to stop, mate.
No, you're right, Port. I'm with you. I've been very, very patient with this squad. And I know this season there's been a couple of new boys been brought in and stuff like that, but the mainstay of the squad's still there. And I'm at my kind of wit's end a wee bit with them, Robert, that if the modern night and they go into this game and they don't turn up, I really want Clement to make some examples come this summer. I think we're all due as a fan base. Now, I know a lot of the guys that are probably the kind of senior leadership ones, they're still on long contracts, probably apart from Lundstrom, because obviously he's coming to an end. Barisic is coming to an end and stuff like that. But the boys like say Golson and Tab and stuff like that, I think they've got to try and galvanise this team tomorrow night and give us a performance. Because see, if it's granted, if it's a win, I'll take it and move on. But if it's anything but a win, tomorrow, Robert, I'm done with them. And it's got to be some sort of red out. An example's got to be made, whether it is somebody that's on a long contract of some sort. Because if it was any other line of work, Robert, like I says, there'd be, you can sack a manager all the time all you want, but sometimes there's underlying issue there. and you've really got to, like I says, maybe make an example. Your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, just when you said there about obviously this season that new guys have come in, they've got some stick. Desser's been obviously the main one. Lammers get put out on loan. It's the mainstay, the players like Goldson, Tavernier, Lundstrom. It's those players who we look at as the senior group to step up and kind of galvanise the players that are down or not performing. But see, when they're down, it's their reaction you don't get. And that's the concerning thing, because we've had it so many times over the seasons. It's the same players that we're picking up for errors, costing us goals, costing us points, lack of effort. But they're still the same names on the team sheet every week because there's nobody else pushing them. And that's when, as you say, an example needs to be made. At half time at Celtic, I'm calling for Tavernier to get subbed. If it was any other player with that first half performance, he'd have been taken off the park. But because he's a captain, because he's of assists, his goals, his contribution, his position is where he is in Rangers as an individual, it's not going to happen. But I think that's what needs to happen, mate, is somebody with a kind of senior stature either subbed, dropped, or sold if they're not willing to commit and prove the desire and the hunger that the fans have and the players haven't had these past couple of games. We need to get the fire back in the belly and get the performance, get the points.
100%, mate. 100%. Port, my frustration is, like I says, with our squad, and again, I hope they go out and they prove me wrong tomorrow night, is that, see, when you're looking at our squad and you're looking what's maybe taking points off of us, when you look at a Motherwell squad, I says it's made up of a lot of journeymen. Ross County, again, made up of a lot of journeymen. Boys are good professionals and all the rest of it. Clinical. Maybe that, again, that's what we're lacking. We're lacking being clinical. Against Celtic, I mean, we're up against half the J-League and we're a couple of, like I says, ex-Kelly players in amongst it and Canadian international. I mean, you can't tell me that I says this squad can't show that they're better than all that. And I think, like I says, these last 6 games for me, Port, they've got to show it that they are. Because see, if they don't, then we're as well as starting to show up in our own market. We're as well as show up in the Scottish League. We're as well as going across to these other countries and picking up the best of talent, maybe in the J-League or something like that. Because what is the point in us spending, like say, Adesser's 4 million, 5 million on a guy like that, and Sam Lammers another 5 million? We're as well as going down the cheap route because we're getting nothing better with spending loads of money. Your thoughts, Port?
Mate, you know my thoughts in our snobbery sometimes in regards to buying players for our own league. There's one thing I'll always trust, mate, is a good honest journeyman, a guy that's all right, maybe not get the talent that some of your guys like your Campbell and that have got, absolute ballers, you know what I mean? But a good honest pro, mate, that will go out there, blood, snot, tears, sweat, and give it 90 minutes and crawl off that pitch. These guys are 10 a penny in the Premier League, mate. But right now, you look at our squad sometimes, and I look at my squad and I go, who was the last player that I seen giving, blood, sweat and tears, putting his head in where it hurts, making a last-ditch blocking challenge like the way that boy Butland at Ross County at the weekend, the way they were defending, putting their bodies in a line. These guys are needed in every team, mate. I call them, I've heard mentioned on the show before, the water carriers of your teams, the guys that go out there, break up play, destroy all the good play and, make blocks with their faces and then get to the guy that's gifted and let him go and do his magic. We overlook our own squad a lot, mate, because we've got a snobbery thinking that we need to go to Europe somewhere and buy a player when sometimes Underwater Smith, mate, it's right under your nose, and I've already said it on this show plenty of times. We've all said that there's players that we've let go to this country who've went on and done very well for themselves. I'll use Lewis Ferguson as an example. Absolutely turned up Serie A, we had a chance to get him, well connected to a club, but no, we turn our noses up at these sort of guys, mate. Shanklin's a big one with Andy for Leeds. Another one under our nose, a wee bit of snobbery involved. We could have got him when he was at Ayr. We could have got him for Dundee United, but no, we want to go and look abroad and think we're going to get better for there. As I said, mate, I think every team needs one or two. I mean, Lundstrom's supposed to be our enforcer in midfield, but for me, mate, he doesn't put his body on the line, and that's what you need to win titles or stave off relegation. You have to be prepared to put your body on the line for your team, your club, your fans, and that's one thing I do question at time with our squad, mate. I look at it and I say, who puts their body on the line in our squad? Can any of you to answer that?
Well, all you do is look across the city and see who runs the show in their squad. I mean, week in, week out. I mean, it's boy gets criticism and all the rest of it, but tell you something, he leads and he performs. I mean, and whatever he does to the other players in his squad, with performance and all that, and getting them fired up, then like I says, there's question marks got to be answered about our squad. I mean, I just don't get it. But again, like you says, Port, who in our squad is acting like that, who's turning up. I mean, our captain, to a certain point this season, I would say, has been there and dug us out of holes and stuff like that. So I'm not going down the route of probably bashing Tav, even though he's been honking the last two games. But again, we're needing our midfield. Port. I mean, we've not got anybody in there a lot of the time that's got the bit of dig to go and grab the ball. Cantwell, to a certain extent, at the weekend as well, was a good one for me. Boy digs in and all the rest of it, but he's got nobody round about him, Port. There's no quality, like you say, there's no quality round about him. And this is what we're needing. I think that's where your kind of answer lies. We're needing help, the good players in our squad, and there's no help there. And this is maybe where the red out needs to come.
That's exactly what I'm getting at, mate. I don't want to see Cantwell or Lawrence running back, into the deep line midfield role, or, taking it off of fullbacks and trying to get out of the pitch. I want to see him in the final quarter of the pitch, mate. I want to see my GDMs, my defensive-minded midfielders. I want to see him smashing into tackles, breaking up play, and giving it to guys like Lawrence, Seema, Cantwell, Silva, and let them go and do their magic in the final quarter of the pitch, mate. That's the frustrating part for me. Everybody's got a job in a team. Everybody's got a job, whether it be, to break up play and give it to the guy that's better than you, but he's a creator of the team. But just you make sure you break up that play and give it to him and let him go and do his magic in the final quarter. And that's what it all falls down for me, mate. We've not got, through the spine of the team, we've not got that centre forward that'll, bash and fight for everything, scrap, bite, the whole lot. We've not got a terrier in the middle of the park. And we've got, in my opinion, we've not got a centre half that goes up there and wins every ball, regardless, as I said, putting his body on the line, putting his face or his body where it hurts. We just don't seem to have that, mate. And the sore thing about it is it's through the spine of the team. And again, I'm going to take the keeper out of that because he has stood up and he's proved to be a top signing.
Robert, you want to jump in this?
I agree with Porter. It's the spine of the team that's lacking that kind of spine, to be honest with you, and the will and desire and the fire to get us going. The midfield's obviously your engine room. That's where everything goes through the channels. It's always through the middle. And over this season, I know we've had our injuries and things like that, and Lundstrom's been the one that's kind of been there consistently on the team sheet. Might not be there consistently performance levels, but certainly he's been there on the team sheet. But as Port says, you're seeing Lawrence and Cantwell pick the ball up in our own half at times. I mean, their third goal at the weekend, Lawrence is in a right back position. I know he's got a defensive job to do as well in his position that he plays, but he's far too deep, even receiving the ball. Cantwell, for months, was getting the ball almost in a wing back position rather than being in the 10 position that he was might be playing. But that wasn't down to him not getting the ball there. It was just down to the other players not having the quality to find that space and create something different rather than going this long ball that we seem to favour from full centre half to winger. So we do need better quality, and that's when, as you say, GB, stop being so kind of petty towards players in our league. There's good players here in Scotland, but also looking at other markets. I mean, we spent £1 million on Alfredo Morelos, and nobody knew what he was, but he was your terrier up front. All right, might have been different at times, but he was your terrier. he hassled defenders, he got you goals, he bullied the centre halves. But you're shopping there cheap. You wouldn't have paid 4 or 5 million for him. So why are we paying 4 or 5 million now for the likes of Dessers, who he's got his goals? I mean, you can't ignore that, but it's 5 chances for 1 goal. Particularly there at the weekend, he's got a big chance to make it 2-0, and the game could be done then as well. So it's about being smart in business and transfers, and also contracts as well, of players that are still in the club. Some have been here for far too long, and that's when it can become stale. You've then got issues of players sitting on a contract, not getting games, quite happy to do so, and we can't get them out in the window because we can't get them in the squad because they're not fit or they're not good enough to be in the squad. It's about the balance, and that comes down to board, regime, managerial positions that we've had, but ultimately the players that are there now. As you said earlier, we've got them now for these 6 games. Some will continue, so they need to go and deliver, and we'll need to see a drastic change in how things are approached and how we manage the club going forward.
Aye. Paul, I think just as we approach the tune, mate, we're going to hear about the second part of the manager's interview after the tune. The manager, as much as like says I'm right behind him and stuff like that, he's got to. Robert makes good points about the likes of Lawrence and Cantwell's positions at time in the team. He mentioned in his interview about like sometimes the team is too attacking and forgetting their shape and stuff like that. That all comes back to the manager. He's got to be there on the sidelines instructing them not to be diving forward. He's got to be telling to have to hang back and stuff like that to keep the structure. It can't be after the game that's when these things get brought up. It's got to be during the game. And he even said at the weekend there at half time that he warned them and stuff like that, and they still went out and done the same thing. So again, it's either the manager learns for it or the manager's got to set examples. I mean, it's got to be one or the other. We can't keep going kicking the can down the road with this team. There's something got to be. See, either tactical's got to change, or it's got to be personnel. It's got to change. Port. Just quickly, we've got a couple of minutes before the tune.
I get exactly where you're coming from, mate. But the manager can only give instruction. These are grown men, mate, professional footballers who get briefed, who get coached all week, and trusted to go and basically show the application what they've worked on for that week or that 3 days, how long it's been planned for. So when I looked at that game at the weekend, I didn't see where usual. The basics were all gone, Gary. See that the short passing, the quick passing, the one-touch passing that we're seeing from time to time under Clement. Everything was 2, 3, 4 touches midfield, mate. Before you knew it, you were surrounded. We need to get back to our slick, quick passing moves, mate. And do you know why? Do you know why Lawrence and guys like them and Cantwell are dropping in, mate, and try to get the ball deep? Because they're dropping in because they're not receiving the ball. Because what's happening is, at times, this long diagonal is happening, looking for Dessers, looking for Sima wingers, they're trying to hit the wingers, and completely missing out the midfield. So then we become predictable, easy to play against. Oh, just let them, just launch that, big long ball. Let's press. They'll force them to find a long ball. Before you know it, you've get up possession and they're counting you. You're basically getting caught at your own game. And we're becoming a very predictable side to play against, mate. And we're a much better side when we're mixing it up under Clement, when we were using that diagonal from time to time in a game. We were playing through teams. The midfield were involved. The midfield were winning. They were creative. Wide men were, creating stuff and scoring goals. Lawrence started to look as if he was getting into a game. Ridvan looked, before he got injured, he looked like a £6 million Turk international, mate. We were on a positive trajectory. And all of a sudden, mate, we've been brought back down to earth by Judder and Hall. And I must say, mate, that's what I'm saying to you. And it's due to how we're starting games. See, if you go, Gary, grab the game by the scruff of the neck, get an early goal, it takes the pressure off. Your team can relax a wee bit, and then you can start to enjoy the game. You can fizz the ball about, one touch, fit and get moving. But until we get back to that again, we were making a positive start to games. It looks to me, mate, so far, we're going to sort of judder and stutter towards this league title, mate. And it can't be like that. It has to be blood and thunder for the first minute to the last minute. That's what we need to see. That's how you win titles. That's how you stave off relegation. Ross County proved it at the weekend, mate.
Well said, mate. Right. get yourselves on mute because we're going to have a tune.
Jack Butland was just in speaking to us, and he said he's looking at it as the season starts again now, 6 games. Is that important for you? Is that the way you're looking at it? 6 games, if you win them all, it's all in your hands?
I hope 8, but I only look at one game, Dundee, like we've been doing all season. And I hope Jack will do that also, like the rest of the team. Because the moment you start to think about 6 or 8 or 4 weeks to go or 5 weeks to go, and then it's holiday, or then you become in the shit. That's the worst things you can do. Sorry to you that I use that word. I'm too familiar with you guys now. No, that's the baddest thing you can do is to look, and it's the same with 3 months ago. It just game by game going full. It's about that. That's the way they did it, and that's the way they are in this situation now, to be fighting for still a lot of things. So that's what I expect from tomorrow, with all squads, every second of the game to go full with all their energy and not to think about what's going on a few days after. That's for afterwards.
Did that result do anything for the players' belief? Have you had to work hard to reinstall it?
I don't think so. If that's the case, then you're not at your place at Rangers. If you lose your belief with one bad performance or losing points, then you're not ready for that, to fight for trophies, to fight for titles, because it's just part of the journey. There's not one team in the world who wins titles by every game being the best, and we were better. We had more chances. We could have won the game, but every game to be that everybody was afterwards, this team was really good. Doesn't happen. Not one season, not one team in the world. So what are the good teams? The teams who make faults and they react directly and they don't lose belief. So that's part of being a winner and a successful player, and it's that kind of players that we need here in the building to achieve what we want to achieve altogether.
Is this a test of your players' character now?
It's an interesting one again. So I will get to know the team again better, to make the right decisions towards next season. It doesn't mean that it's only a decision about tomorrow or something. It will always be a decision after the 7-8 months together. But these are important moments also to show as a player, I'm here, of course.
Your captain seems to take a lot of criticism off the back of defeats, and it was the same on the weekend. Is that a little unfair to single out one player?
That's part of being captain, and I've been in that position also in the past. So as captain, you're a symbol of the club, and when things go well, you're the main man, and you get all the praise and all the spotlights. And when things are not well, and in this time and age it's different than before, because it's every 3 days, or heaven or hell, so then you get more stick. That's part of the job, and Tav is ready for that also. It's not his first experience in that way, and he get also a lot of praise this season also, what he deserved also, what he's been doing. Was he good on Sunday? No, he was also the first one to recognize that, but there was not really one on the pitch who was really good, and they know, and they understand, and they want to react now.
Philippe, just for clarity, are you saying there in the last few games of the season that the players need to show to you that they deserve to be here next season?
No, don't take it so literally, but that's always the part of the story, that after a season a decision is made, what is the group for next season? That's always part of the story in every team in the world. That I just want to say. It's not that there is an exam now, the next 6 weeks, but it's always a part of, if you want to grow, if you want to be successful, you need to make decisions at the end of the season. So of course it's important to perform, but Stephen? It's in every team in the world the same.
Philippe, 2 questions, very quick one first on Rid van Yilmaz. Sorry to push you again on it. Do you expect him back anytime soon, or is it going to be a season kind of ending?
No, he will come back. But it's difficult for me to say if it's in a few days or in 2 weeks. But I don't think, I'm sure it's not going to be a long term anymore. He's on the pitch now, training individually. He's taking steps, but he's not training with the squad yet.
My second question was, and I'll try to articulate this properly, on the structure of the team on Sunday, I haven't seen Rangers as open.
Yes, of course. That's what I've been talking about.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, do you think as an individual or a collective that you've had to work on to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Yeah, of course, and it had a lot to do with communication also. What we've been really strong on last couple of months, the communication together, and that was not the case during this game. And because of this, our structure was also less than before. So everybody understands. It's been a really strong point that our structure was there all season, and what was less the case in the beginning of the season, and because of that you had also games like we had now. So it was a little bit a throwback to those times, what I totally don't want to see, because it's against all my principles in football. So yes, the team understands, and in their eagerness to score goals, they forget their basics, so we need to focus on our basics again.
What do you expect from Dundee now that they've got their top 6 place assured?
Yeah, that they have a free ride tomorrow, that they will feel it like that also. Nothing to lose, they will go full to win this game. It's a different situation than if we would have played 1 week ago, where the pressure was on. So it's different situation, but yeah, that's Dundee's situation. My situation is that I'm focused on my team, what they need to do. But in that way, the phase of Dundee and how they approach the game will be different.
Philippe, Sam Lammers has been flying on loan. I think it's 6 goals now in his last 6 games. Is he someone that you've spoken to and is in your plans for next season?
No, I didn't speak with him, but we will make this evaluation, like I said also about all the rest, after the season, and to see how everybody performed in this period, and not only me, that's together with the people of the board, to make the right decisions, to make a really strong squad and even a better squad next season.
Oh, right. Thanks for that, Fox. It was good. And Robert, manager's very honest again in his assessment. Question at the end. Chuck, let's just chuck in Sam Lammers. Sam Lammers will fix all our problems. You know what I mean? Jesus.
I know. But where are we at?
Aye, but back to where it's true about the Tav thing. The criticism does come with Tav in Golson a lot of the time, but he's right in the sense that so when you look about the squad, like say this season, Lawrence, Barisic, Dessers, Rotondo, I can't really see Seema, Cantwell maybe to a certain extent, Doyle, Lundstrom. I mean, they've not contributed as well. I mean, they can't escape criticism. I mean, their goals return, their displays all the time and stuff like that. They've just not been there all season for me. They've had moments, as Port's touched on, about this kind of, we've not had this full 90-minute performance. But it is easy just to criticise Tav and Golson, but that full team, like I says, the rest of them, what have they really contributed to this season? Not a lot.
No, you're right, mate. And again, to use one of the old cliches, you win as a team, you lose as a team. But when you are captain and vice captain, and you play positions that Tav and Golson do, when a defeat comes, it's easy to look at these two players. I mean, you could look at the back line as a whole. Excuse me. Excluding Butland, he obviously made a couple of good saves, and again, if it's not for him over the course of the season that he's had, we wouldn't be where we're at now. We'd be worse off, if I'm honest. So they two players as our senior players are going to be looked at, but you're right in terms of the rest of the squad. It comes back to what Port said. Who's the enforcers? Who's putting that blood, sweat and tears into the performances? And if one gets it, then they should all get it. And we've not had that, as you say, throughout the season. So he's right to pick up and Tav and say, no, he didn't have a great game on Sunday. Nobody did. Maybe Cantwell tried for his effort. He tried. Nothing was clicking really near the end. Butland again makes saves. But when you're making saves, the defence is standing watching it as well. So it just comes down to leadership, commitment, desire, and that's when it comes to application as well. So there's a lot of factors between now and the end of the season that a lot of players need to fix. And I know when he was asked there about are these 6 games the games where if you want to be here, it comes down to, no, it doesn't. But these are the 6 games where you're going to be looked at first and foremost because of the position we're in. So a lot to think about and look about what's going to happen these next 6 games, mate.
Mm-hmm. I think that's important. It starts tomorrow night. The players that have not contributed very well this season have got to step up tomorrow night for us. Oh, sorry, mate. I'll come back to you, Port. I think we've been joined with Ward. Are you there, mate?
Hello. Evening, folks.
How are you getting on, mate?
Aye, all right. I'm all right. How are you?
Well, after the interviews, after the interviews that we've heard today, mate, I think we're a wee bit more positive about what's lying ahead, and like I think the manager's touched on, game at a time. But for me, it's 6 cup finals, buddy. What's your thoughts?
I've heard that one too many times, but game at a time. I know it's easy to say, but we're not doing. One game at a time. It seems to be it's falling apart one game at a time. Run about us at times. Don't know if you agree with that, but that's the way it looks sometimes.
I'll go to Port. Port, you want to come in, mate?
All right, Wardy, mate, how you doing? Good to have you on, pal.
Hi, pal.
No, I agree, mate. It's not the right time to start seeing your team. I'm not going to quite say and be totally harsh and say, implode, but the kick on from when Clement came in, I touched on it earlier on, mate, if you were listening earlier on, but the kick on for Clement came in to get us back into the title race, that run he went on, outstanding. A lot of players that we doubted. Desser's been one of them, was scoring goals. He misses a barrel load, and could have took the pressure off us in loads of games. But it's not happened. But over the Motherwell Celtic game and then Ross County the weekend, I touched on it earlier on, we've not put a 90-minute, we've not got a 60-minute performance together this season, mate. And then right when it comes to when you need a bit of your cojones, you need cojones for this title fight, mate. You need cojones to get yourself out of relegation. We seem to have lost that. We seem to have something. It's like the wheels are come off the bogey, mate. Instead of continuing this fight and, like I said, blood, sweat, and tears, we seem to be stuttering. We seem to be, is it nerves? I've asked Gary and I've asked Robert. Is it nerves? Is it nerves to closing out a title? If we just not got that, is this squad lacking that experience to get a title over the line? There's a lot of wee factors I'm thinking, mate. So I'm not quite sure. I don't know if any of you guys have got an opinion on that. Has this team won enough to have the not have game nerves to see out these title reigns and see out these cup runs and basically finishing them off? Is that a factor, guys? Is the pressure getting to this squad?
Let Wardy answer that. Wardy, what's your thoughts, mate? Let's see. How are you feeling now, mate?
Pressure comes in two ways. It's good pressure or bad pressure, and I think bad pressure is what we're feeling now. But you can't go from running in Europe, playing good teams, way better than what we're playing now. Cannon fodder in the league, right? So cannon fodder, we should be romping it. Nobody should be laying a golf. We're playing in Europe, playing good football, getting so far through, and playing far more superior teams. And we can't lay a golf in Ross County. That's a slap in the face. Sorry for my swearing. It's a slap in the face to every single fan, anybody who cares about the club. And it makes you fume because you care so much, you're passionate about your team. And why can our players not understand that? It means more to everybody outside the box as it does them. The fans are there every week, cheering them on, patting them in the back. Why do us a favour and actually pull your socks up and do your job?
I agree, Wardy. I think there's been times, even when I look back in Smith's time, and how he won championships was controlling games. Like you says, the teams that in the league were more, like you says, cannon fodder, but he knew how to manage a game. So there would be times I'd be watching Walter Smith's teams, probably in his second spell, where he'd go maybe 2-0 up against a Dundee United, and then he would shut up shop. You know what I mean? And I seem to think that over the years, not just Clement, but the previous managers and stuff like that, we just don't know how to control a game anymore. And that's what I want us to get back to that. I want us to be able to win, but win convincingly, kind of thing. Aye, that's it, mate. Yep.
Dominate a game. Take it for the first minute and run with it and actually go for a team's jugular vein. If you go 3-0 up in the first 10 minutes, absolutely amazing. You need to score in the first 10, 15 minutes of a game. Let them know you're there. Every single, first to the ball, every single time. No relaxing off it. 100% pressure. Pressure wins games. They're going to buckle. They can't defend for all 90 minutes. You're going to get cracks. Keep 1-2 touch passing, and you can't hold the ball for any more than 10 seconds. Come on, we watch European football. We play European football. No player holds a ball any longer than 10 to 15 seconds and passes the ball on. Keep the ball moving. Don't let the ball slow down and control the pace of the game. What can they not get? Philip Clement's been there, done it, wore a t-shirt. And these players are all seasoned in their team. And the mistakes are still
there. Can I bring Robert in that one, Wardy?
Aye, of course, mate. Carry on.
Aye. Because it's a good point, mate. Robert, come in and Wardy's point there, mate.
Sorry, mate, I just lost the tail end of it. My signal was going there. Can you repeat that last bit?
I know. It's just Wardy. On you go, mate.
It was just purely passion there. Speaking for your heart there. I was just going over everything about like kind of the pace of the game, controlling it, from first to the last, dominating the game and stuff like that. We've got the players there. They know what they're doing. We've played in European football. And you can't hold the ball any more than 10-15 seconds and it's getting played on through. And you're looking for the next available pass. And we're all playing with our head down. Why are they playing with our head down? We should be head up, looking for the next ball in and controlling the fast pace of the game. We need to be at least first goal 15 minutes. And Phil should be drawing it in. He's not daft. He's been there, done it. And this is where Rangers at times, you watch them and you go, were we actually playing for a draw here? We're playing, it's 15 minutes in and we're playing as if we're playing for a draw. It's so frustrating to watch. It's night and day since the Hearts game, night and day.
Robert, I think the point that we're adding as well was that why can we turn up and like say these better teams in Europe, and yet we seem to always come to Ross County, Robert, and for whatever reason, even Motherwell at home, these games should be bread and butter. I know we've not got any divine right to win, but see as it stands now, the way finance is in the Scottish League and the money that we're spending, it's either we're not buying the right players or that's just the players' attitudes are just not there all the time. Robert?
I think it comes down to their approach to Scottish football. You mentioned there, like the European runs, Wardy's right, we've played teams far superior than Motherwell and Ross County and dominated football games. Okay, maybe not for 90 minutes, but for the most majority. We've beat Leipzig, we've beat Dortmund, we've played Benfica, gave a good account of ourselves. These are teams that are much more financially ahead of us and any other team in Scotland, Scottish football. I think for me, it's about the attitude towards Scottish football. It's almost like the games are won before you kick the ball. Like it's Ross County, they're down in the second bottom. We'll beat them, no bother. That's not the attitude, and that comes down to player. You can't manage that. That's a player's attitude. When we're opening teams up, it's when they come and attack us. Ross County did it. Look what happened when they attacked us. We were rattled. We couldn't find a way to get back in the game from 3-1. But when you've got a low block, when Motherwell score early and get 10 men behind the ball, that's when we are starting to find issues. And that comes down to the quality of the players we've got. So it's the acceptance of European football is fast, expansive and open. In Scottish football, depending on the scoreline, you've got 10 men behind the ball and the players just don't have the right attitude at times. And that's when Port's right, this squad haven't won enough. One league title and a Scottish Cup isn't enough. But the experience they've gained in Europe as a squad certainly adds value in what they should be able to do against teams like Ross County and Motherwell. And I think that's where it becomes most frustrating, that it should be a walk in the park. Not thinking it is, but going and actually doing it. And as you said earlier, mate, going back to Walter Smith days, these are the games in the period of a season where you're looking for a player to step up. I said it to yourself before. I always remember the Kyle Lafferty run-in he had. Somebody coming in to the squad and just taking it through the game and grabbing it by the horns, getting goals that are vital to winning a league title. I don't see anybody in that squad right now who's going to do that, and that's the difference.
Well, I think when we're touching on why does this team do it, like turn it on and off, I think one of the examples is when you look at that Sam Lammers now, in Dutchland, that he's scoring goals and seems to be he's getting great write-ups and all the rest of it, and yet when he came to us, he couldn't even, like he says, turn it on against a Ross County or anything like that. And for me, it's got to be mentality. It's got to be that kind of, like you say, pressure that they just can't handle. They can't get their head drawn into this winning mentality. Game out. Whereas he's went earlier.
Sorry.
He's went earlier. Sorry, mate. On you go.
I don't know why I talk over you. On you go.
I was meaning like Sam Lammers went earlier, no pressure, and he's scoring goals and like I says, probably in a team where if they draw the following week, it doesn't really matter, kind of thing.
So, to touch on that one that you were talking about, and you go, Sam Lammers is just the tip of the iceberg for me, to be honest with you. Look at Hadji. Hadji's went out and won and improved. Anybody that sat in deals, Nicky Woods or has been signed in since, Phil came in, Lammers came. Lammers didn't hit the big kicks, but we kept Dessers. Dessers should have been the one who went away. Lammers could have improved. He could have offered more. He just needed the service. It's ordinary service. Morelos didn't play. It was before, but he got service, and Morelos finished balls. And you go at yourself, we needed the same player back. If you fed Dessers better football and better opportunities, could they finish it? Who would have been a better striker? Lammers or Dessers, and I think Lammers would have offered more. He just needed to believe in himself a wee bit, and I think he's got belief out there. He's got freedom to play, and they're allowing him to do what he should be doing. And you can see it in his play. If you watch the wee clips that's getting sent back in, and you're going like that, what the heck? That's night and day here. Lammers was out to run the riot, and we've got a Dawson, kid-on player, taking tap whack, turning up, and putting half-assed efforts in. Thinks he's a striker. And his granny's side.
I know. Port, you want to come
honestly, it makes me fume. Makes me fume that guy gets a Rangers tap every week. And you're going like that. If you had tap, mate, it must be choking you. That you can't perform. Anybody looking in, who's going to buy him? Who would honestly punt money on him as our new striker?
It is $1 million question. Like he says, come the summer, these guys, Port, you come in this, mate. These guys, Dessers, Lammers to a certain extent. I think Hadji's still got another 2 years. We've got Tav and Golson still another 2 to go as well. Port. I mean, Clement's, as much as let's say we'd all love them to disappear overnight, it's not going to happen. But these guys they've got too much money probably coming to them, and then they've got to obviously. You play hardball, then you're sitting with a guy maybe sitting with 25 grand on a bench somewhere. I mean, we can't have that either because that affects our financial fair play. We've got ourselves in a right mess, but it's up to Clement, Port, the more to galvanise them and try and get, like I say, a team in the park that's going to go and win a title.
I think if you look at it overall, mate, you know, the guys like Hadji Bruton loan and is what he's touched on, done better. Lammers away to play in Holland, done better. But big factor in that, mate. In Holland, Sam Lammers won't be sitting behind, you know, a low block, 11 men behind the ball. The Dutch league will play nice, expansive football where Sam Lammers will get, you know, space, he'll get time. We know he's got a great touch. I mean, we've been on here talking about some of Lammers' touch and his movement and stuff, but he just lacked pace. A bit like, you know, Hadji. We know Hadji technically is outstanding, but he lacks one of the big fundamentals in football, and it's pace to take you to that next top level. You know, the good thing about, you know, the positive note with Lammers, he's scoring GB, so that's a positive because if we do want to sell him, then his form now is better because he's scoring and he's made a massive impact at Utrecht. So if we do plan on selling him, mate, that's a positive. Lammers as well. Dessers as well. He scored a lot of goals, mate, for Rangers this year. So again, try and turn that negative into a positive. If we do want to get rid of him, well, somebody might take a punt on him. Somebody will take a punt on him somewhere in Europe because he scored for Rangers certainly. You know what I mean? I just think it's down to one thing. I think this squad's been together, especially some of the senior players, mate. Some have been there too long, and I'm going to just throw in, I think, a wee bit of complacency. You know, sometimes you can be at a club or be in a job, just in life in general. GB, you can just be somewhere too long, and I think it is time for, you know, fresh blood. The senior Courier squad, you know, your Golson, Lundstrom, Tav, you know, they've been there a substantial amount of time in Rangers terms. And like you touched on, GB, the hardest thing in football is to get guys out the door that are on contracts, especially when, one, they will never play for a club as big as Glasgow Rangers again when they leave here. Two, probably won't get the money they're getting at their next move. I mean, ideally, if Tav wants to go or Golson wants to go, this is probably their last contracts, Lundstrom as well. So they're going to try and maximise, you know, their profit if they're looking to get out the club. We know Lundstrom's in a place where it's his last contract. He'll be able to get a sign-on fee. He'll do well for himself if he gets out of Rangers. If that's his intention to leave and it's your intention to move him on, I have to think if they were going to agree something, they'd been agreed before now. Although Golson left it late when he done his renewal. But you get what I mean. That's one of my biggest problems. But I just think we need we need to press the refresh button, mate. That's where I think this squad's at the moment. And I think an impetus, a new core of younger, hungry players, you'll see a massive difference, mate. Because I just think complacency's killing, mate. And that I think under Clement, I think this team actually got a wee sort of, they got in a position where they thought they were better than they were. And that sort of wee era, we're just going to turn up at this Ross County, turn up at Dundee, Motherwell, and we'll turn them over because we've been playing excellent. And then that bit of complacency, mate, stepped in and went, nah, this is not how it works, because Motherwell, Ross County, Dundee, fighting for their lives, fighting for the top six, or fighting for something, and we're fighting for a title, and we get rolled over. That's the thing that concerns me, Gary, and I always say it, mate, complacency's killer, and I think that's it's hindering this squad, mate. Some of them have been there for far too long.
Good point, mate. What do you want to come back in, bud?
It's purely on that. It's like you can see the cracks forming. It's been forming for years. The weekend alone said it all when the ball broke, doing that side that Tav should be on. The cover doesn't come back and they play into that space, the same where Hatate had Tavernier's ticket all day long when we played them. So we play at one forward, Tavernier darts up the park, leaves that area wide open, and they play into it. They're not daft, they all watch the videos and the replays. They've watched how Celtic scored their goals, and exactly the same happened again on Sunday. Play back post and they tap in. Butland parrying the ball allows the second ball to then be played in the danger area and finish. And the boy was there, spot on time. But that whole jog back for Cantwell jogging back into that area annoyed me. But at the same time as well, we're exposed every single time we play forward. Lonnie and Lawrence and that should be coming back into that area and tagging back. Not a jogger's pace. It's been named afore at the same times as well when we went on runs, and then it's the whole jog back with Ryan Kent's and all that. The same's getting played out again. The whole lack of trying to cover each other. It's an 11-man team. Play for the next man next to you and play for the jersey. It's not you, it's not about you, it's about a team. And at times it's not a team game. It's as if they're all there for themselves. It doesn't string together. They don't listen. They just go and do what they think's best. And that's the way it looks just the new. You go, you actually listen to what's been told to you. Switch your ears on. It's taking 45 minutes. Big fall going through you. Are ready to go and actually demolish you in that changing room before you turn up. You've spent 45 minutes doing nothing. When are you going to go out and actually do something? I don't know if you agree on that.
No, I'll take it to Robert. Robert, one of the things I think what he's touching on is like you're saying about Cantles and stuff like that. Maybe we're saying about boys, maybe we're just like men. I mean, we're needing actual proper men in there to grab the game by the stuff of the neck. I mean, a lot of these boys we're signing, they're 21, 22. You look at Silva. I mean, Silva's came from Benfica. He was a prospect. Goes to Wolves and gets loaned out. Big price tag against him, but he's got no kind of proper men's football behind him. And I think this is the thing that always comes down to us, that we've got a couple of guys in the team who are like so-called senior leaders and stuff like that, but I don't think we've got actual proper men's football team. We've got a lot of young boys learning their trade, I think.
We do, but as much as we need experience, we need the youth as well. We need to strike that balance for me, mate. And I get you're coming from a bit more experienced heads and men, but it's modern football. Everything's now young, fresh players, but I don't care if you're 18 or 28 or 38. You should have the hunger inside you from day one, especially at a club like Rangers. The hunger to win titles, win trophies, be in Europe. That should be installed in you. Whether you're, as I said, at 18 or 38, it doesn't matter. The ability, that'll come. through age and training and experience, aye. But ultimately, we either have a squad that's too young or we'd have a squad that's too old. So for me, we need to get the balance. But when you're doing so, your experienced heads, your senior players, need to be the ones that pick up the young players and galvanise them, the ones that they can be role models to. Jermaine Defoe was a prime example. He came to the club, a real signing for us, like out the blue. And Morelos, his troubles that he had, looked at Defoe as a role model. Aribo, Kamara, they all looked up to him as an older, experienced guy, but he led by example. But he wasn't a captain. But that was just his experience, and that's when you're looking for the guys in your squad that we've got to have that impact. So I get what you're saying about maybe not enough men, but for me, it's getting the balance of who's learning their trade, who we can develop, but who's experienced enough to come in and understand what Rangers is and what Rangers are about. And once you get that, if you don't have it already, then you don't lose it. And if you have lost it, then it's time to leave the club.
Well said, mate. Wardy, back to kind of the Mora, mate. What's your hopes for the Mora? Are you wanting to see this team wake up the Mora and go for the title?
Goldson Drap for a start. Goldson Drap and Tavernier. Play your position, mate. Play your position. Don't leave us exposed, because Dundee will come and take goals at you. And we don't want that. We don't want a repeat performance. If a wee team down the bottom, dwell down about down the bottom here, can take that and do that to us, then do you not think Tony Docherty's just one player manager of the month, which I don't get at all. Who's assigning these awards? Sorry. This guy's not been able to play 6 games in that pitch. That Kudong fucking field that he's got, sorry. I keep swearing. I know I'm raging with him. But it's a dung field, do you know what I mean? And tomorrow night, all of a sudden, we're allowed to play football on it. Come on. It's improved. The fact that you're going to be playing that lot very shortly on it, you know what I mean? Got to be seen to be doing the right thing. Conspiracy theories and all that. Stop flooding your pitch.
True.
But we need to go for a start tomorrow night. We really need to. But I think Balogun and Suter at the back, don't play stupid people with Dowell and that. You guys just back. You're leaving yourself exposed. We need experience in amongst the middle there. Take a scruffy team. Do what you do best, mate. Don't float with a manager just because you're under a new contract and you want an absolute fortune for doing what you do. Play for the tap. Hey, mate, just get the job done. We'll deal with your contract later. Win the league first, mate, and then we'll talk about the big money you want.
Aye. Well, win the league. Win the league. We've got more money to give them. That's the thing.
Aye,
it's one of the ones. You think you'd be motivated to win the title? Aye. That's what I'd be saying to him. Look, if you want whatever you're wanting, then you need to help us win the title. That's the thing. That's where the cash is going to come in for that in the Champions League. You mean so?
Yep.
Aye. You're well said, mate. I'll take it round the boys and actually what today, Wardy, have a think about your team lineup for tomorrow, because I think the manager has said that unfortunately Balogun's got a sickness bug, so he's out for tomorrow. So I'm going to come back to you for your team lineup now. We'll come back to you, mate. Right, I'm going to go to Port and get his his thoughts for the morrow and his team lineup. Port, you there, mate?
Aye, mate, I'm here. Yeah, aye. In regards to his team, mate, in tomorrow night, I think the team. I'll give you my team what I've picked. Right, Butland in goal. I still think you have to go with Tav, Goldson, Suter, and Borna. The reason I've done that is because Tav's. He's just got to play. He's never going to drop him. Goldson as well. I think maybe, as I said, he has to play, mate. John Suter, I think he's done decent the last few games. And Borna gives you that balance on the left. So that's the only reason that Borna's in, because I thought he was soft again. I thought he looked like the softest Croatian player I've ever seen in my life again. Lundstrom, my middle two tomorrow night, mate. I would like to see Lundstrom alongside Stirling in there. And the reason I'm putting Stirling in there is to add a bit of steel in the middle of that part, mate, because Dundee are going to be up for it, you know, regardless if they're just in the top 6 or not. They're trying to finish up as high as they can up that table, mate. So I'm going to go with Stirling. and I'm going to go with Seema on the right, Wee Rabbit on the left, Lauren, sorry mate, yep, and Dessers. That's my team for tomorrow night, mate.
Nice. I think it's going to be that kind of way the manager's not in a great position to just drop players, unfortunately.
No, he's not. That's the thing. We've not got the quality, mate. That's the thing with the team. We've not got the quality where we can just say, you know, you're coming out and we're putting him in, because I think the quality levels we're dropping at times, mate, is like, you know, it's poor. We've not got the like for like quality, and I think that's where a lot of times, you probably agree with this, Tav and Goldson don't really get a chance, regardless how they play. Now, the manager admitted earlier on that Tav was rotten, right? But the thing is, we've not got the quality anywhere else. And a lot of people will probably say, come on, Port, Stirling could probably play in that role. And I agree with that, I really do. But I want to see Big Stirling, mate, alongside Lundstrom, because I think he adds legs to midfield, mate. And sometimes I think we, in regards to running power, I think we sometimes lack legs in the middle of that park, especially in that sort of defensive role. But young Stirling's got that youthful exuberance to get box to box, mate. So he can go, he'd let basically Lundstrom sit and just let the big man get box to box and smash into tackles and win the ball, break up play, and give it to your Cantwells, your Seamers and your Matondos to go and cause the damage, mate.
Mm-hmm. Aye. 100%, mate. Robert, your team for tomorrow and thoughts, mate?
Not far away from Ports, a couple of changes. Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Sterling for left back for me. I think Barisic's game time's very numbered. I know Yilmaz is injured, but hopefully he'll come back. Midfield, I'm going to go with Lundstrom sitting, and then just ahead of him, Lawrence and Cantwell, and then a kind of forward three almost of Seema, Matondo, and Dessers.
Aye. Decent, mate, decent. Ward, are you ready, mate? Do you want to give your team for tomorrow?
That man there, he's just said it all. I'm the same as him. I'm totally the same as him. It's pace and power, and that's what we're looking for. Quick play, get him on the break, do him right in, and finish. Seema's back, feed him the ball, let him finish, do what he does well. It's total power there. I totally agree with it, and I see where he's going with that. They offer tons more energy to the team, and I couldn't agree more. It sticks in my throat that we're actually getting Borna Barisic on our tap, but who else we got? Other than maybe possibly sticking in a King or something like that back, but that's too risky. Far too risky. It's too many things that need done, and it's a must win. So just get the job done.
Aye. 100%. Mate, we've got to get to that. We've got to get into the split with, well, that's his positivity. We can't go in there again, bare points behind. You're right. Port, mate, you're coming in?
Aye, but basically tomorrow night, Gary, you know, I know we're all looking for performance, but can I just say, I don't know if you agree with me, see over performance tomorrow, mate, I just want to see 3 points on the board. I want to see lovely, you know, fast-flowing football. But see, if we got there, mate, 1-2-0, and we fight, and we bite, and we get tore in, I'll accept that, mate. And I'll tell you why, because I think this team need that sort of performance to show us and themselves that they've got the heart for it. Because that's one thing over the last couple of weeks, mate, I've questioned. And although the second half against that mob, they showed a lot of character to come right back into that, and I do commend them for that. But like Wardy touched on, let's go and do this for the first minute to the last minute. Because as I said, you're playing with your tails up and you're playing all of a sudden with a bit of confidence, a bit of pizzazz. You know, let's go and finish teams off and enjoy the game and then relax. But as I said, mate, I'll take a hard 2-0 biting, scratching, headbutting, whatever. I don't care. Just get the 3 points and get back down the road.
Right. I think we've been joined with James from Tennessee. How are we doing, James?
Good. How's it going, lad?
Well, better.
Oh, there he is. Oh, taps off, eh? Taps off, James.
I hope I'm not
This
exposing my...
isn't the only fans.
I'm actually going out to referee a game, actually, so...
What kind of game? They keep refereeing?
Mud wrestling, Alex.
A soccer game. a soccer game. So, the philosophy of this, all the stations are going through all the problems, right? What's done is done, I think. I'm a practical Rangers supporter. I hate to see them lose, but I don't dwell in it the way I used to and get upset the way I used to, because there's other things to life. Now, they get 6 games, and they've got to go to the Lions' Den or whatever you want to call it and win, right? That's the way it is. And if they're shy, etc., if they play like Barisic, like I could say to you guys, would you play Barisic? No. I wouldn't play him ever again. Like, I was wanting Tavernier, as I said before, has been a good servant, but I would have moved him on about 4 years ago. He wouldn't have lasted with me. But he's a nice guy, by the way, and I hope they can turn it around. But what I'm saying is they've got to beat them, and that's to win the league. And that's the way it should be, beat them, because we never seem to beat them there. And that's what I'm saying, the momentum, and beat them. But what I was thinking, I would play a back 3, move Tavernier up 1, and bring in fullbacks. Like, I would play Balogun, Suter, and the other guy. Well, the other guy could get dropped, Golson, but I'm just saying that there's too many of them year after year after year after year. They let us down. Is this another year? We'll soon see. That's all I'm saying. We'll soon see. We'll get 6 games to go. What do you think at that point? Like, we'll soon see what's going to happen instead of... I don't know, to be honest. I couldn't categorically say they win all these games the way they play, but we'll soon see.
Well, I'll go Wardy first. Wardy, I think across the city, I don't think I've got an easy run in either. They've still got Hearts and Kelly and all the rest of it. So
they've got a big stick. They've got a big stick still to play in the run in. So they've technically got 6 cup finals to play in to win their right to win that title. We've got a kind of easier. All right, we've got them at the Dome, but I would say let's see what plays out. We just need to win. We need to win. Concentrate on us. Don't keep looking across the city. Forget him. Worry about what's actually happening to us. We've got a big game Wednesday and a bigger game on Sunday.
Yep. Robert, you want to come in, mate?
That's the 2 most important.
Aye. Yep.
I mean, it's no illusions that I don't think they're going to go and win all their games in the split. There'll be points dropped there. They've dropped points to the teams that they've been playing already. Kilmarnock away on that surface for them is a tough task. Hearts have beaten them at Parkhead already, so there's points there that they can drop. But as Wardy says, we need to focus on ourselves and not rely on others. And that's why I say that tomorrow night is vitally important that we get the 3 points. Anything less, then we have to rely on others. And that's not what we should be doing. We should be cruising this league. Our players, our support demand it. And the players haven't showed it the past 2 games, but that's what comes when you're part of Rangers Football Club. It's success. We haven't had it. But I think now we've came so close and Clement's changed it around that the expectation is so high that if we don't win the league, it's a major disappointment because of where we've came from. And they have not been great this season as well. But ultimately, we haven't capitalised at the vital moments and we've slipped up at the wrong times. And unfortunately, we did that at the weekend. Certainly can't do it tomorrow night.
Port Bear?
Can't do it tomorrow night. Can't do it the rest of the season, Gary. That's the bottom line here. We can. This, as he's touched on it, the first half of the show. We've played over, get a 0 free cards on me. This team just has to go and grab this title by the scruff of the neck, in my opinion. And by hook or by crook, as I said, whether it's fancy football and fast flowing or blood and thunder, I don't particularly care, mate. I just want this team, this squad, as I said, it might be the final games for some of them. Maybe they're way out the door. But go out the door with your head held high and your chest sticking out, mate. Don't go out in a whimper, because that's soul destroying for a footballer. You know, as you said, got themselves back to the title fight, had a cracking run under Clement, and then, you know, to sort of slope off to what Wardy says earlier on and sort of go out, finish second out in a whimper, mate. That would be soul destroying, even for me as a fan, you know, of this great club, to watch that happen, because I think we deserve to be where we're at, and I think we'd also deserve to go and close it out and let some of these guys ride off into the sunset with a title winning medal, mate. You know, that's as simple as I want. 6 cup finals, and then the Scottish Cup final, and then an incredible treble, mate. You know, wow, these guys will never play for a bigger club than that again, and probably won't win anything again after that. So let's go and put everything. A team talk should be easy, GB, for now to the end of the season. Absolutely easy. Go and write your history. Go and write this club's treble winning history and do yourselves proud. That's all we're asking. All we ever ask, mate, is they give us their all, 110%. That's all we ever ask for. Go out there and leave it on the pitch, and then let the quality players in the end up shine through. But all we ever ask is they give us 110%, or they give us equal as the other team give. And if you keep with that sort of mentality, you won't go far wrong at the end of the season, mate, because we have got better quality in our squad.
James, I think that a lot of the frustration comes with the fans is that there is times this team shows us what they can do. I mean, like Port's touched on with Clement coming in, we've went on a big long run of winning games, good defensive record. We've seen certain players go to a Europa League final. We've seen players, like I says, win 55. But it's just frustration, I think, a lot of the time, because they seem to pop up with these kind of brain farts every now and then. And I think if they would just, what I say is, screw the nut, they will win this title, I think. What's your thoughts, mate?
I think what Port Bear said is true, but when you see the Ross County game, they weren't even running back. You know what I mean? Port Bear would be a better striker than Dessers. Why does he laugh when he misses a chance? Does he get a nervous laugh, or he thinks he's bad? I would be upset if I missed the chances he had, and so forth. And I think that was a terrible display, and so they need to get that out of the system. If they win all the games, fine, they'll be legends. But if they go back to that, they've got to, as said Port Bear says, give 110%. I agree with that entirely. And if they do that, we'll get a chance.
I will said. Robert, I think you were coming in, mate.
James is right. It's the application. It's the application. But Port being a striker, I think he'd be a better striker, mate, than a striker.
I think James is winning that, Robert.
I don't know. Top contest. It's getting to that time of night. No,
right, so
we can laugh at joke, but we need to be serious about things going forward, mate. And it's a big important game tomorrow night, so no illusions.
I think we're all in agreement, Wardy. The more nights where it starts, isn't it? We've had the blip. Clement's touched on it. There'll be bumps in the road, but that's the last bump in the road. This is it now. The more night starts.
Show your true colours tomorrow night.
100%, mate. Batter in.
Show your true colours. Play it as if you're playing a cup final. Every game for now, we've had weapon mistakes, we've had the dents in the road, confidence is low, players' individual mistakes. It's ironed out now. So they've had a few days to recover for Sunday. All right, it's not too many, but you go at yourself, reflect on how bad that was. They would obviously have seen it, and it's take that big jagged nettle, gulp down and swallow that one because you need it. And it's on you. You are the ones that caused that. You are the ones to blame. Individual mistakes, but collectively as a team, you move on and you repair and you go again. We need a big performance tomorrow night. 11 men fighting for everything they've got and prove to fans that they've got it in them. They're not bottlers. across the city. We've lost it already. They've got their wee grubby paws on it, and the big licks and big kicks are out. No, they're not yet. It ain't over.
Well said, mate. Brilliant. James, do you think the hairdryer treatment was done yesterday? I think the manager touched on it in his presser, saying that he had a word with them. Do you think the hairdryer came out?
Yeah, of course, he would have to really. That's why I think he stormed off. I don't think he was stormed off because he was scunnered with the display, and he said that about the other coach, I'll shake hands, but he was really scunnered and putting his hands up. What kind of display you putting on? So yeah, I think he would tell them. He said, "You really need to get your act together, or it's going to be curtains for them anyway. No matter what happens, some of these players will never play again next year. So, but let's go for it. Let's go out for the Rangers. Like Port Bear said, 110%, and if we give that, we'll win any game. But if we go back to our sloppy ways, and well, we're in trouble." I'm just watching Barcelona. PSG. The other guy says, move the ball, 2 touches, move the ball. Exactly the way to play football. We're too slow. We wait for the team to get back into defence. We should watch PSG, Barcelona, move the ball quickly. Yeah.
GB, can I ask you a question, mate? Can you give me your team for tomorrow night, and then sort of a wee rundown on what you're expecting from the team, as in performance-wise? What you're looking for? Are you looking for fast-flowing, or are you like me, by any means necessary, but just go out there and show a bit of character and a bit of fight desire? What's your team and your thoughts on the games ahead?
My team tomorrow would be Butland, Tav, Golson, Suter, Sterling. I'd put Sterling in at left back. I would probably go for Lawrence, Lundstrom and Cantwell in the midfield, and then I would go for Silva, Sima and Dessers up front, unfortunately. And again, I think I'd go with down the route of Wardy and Robert. I want the kind of pace and power. That's the reason. Lawrence had a good wee spell at playing that kind of defensive midfielder role. The manager was getting big praise for it, and even Lawrence himself was saying that he was just happy to be on the park. So I want to see him get back to that form. I want to see Cantwell getting back to the form that we've seen him doing the wee runs off the ball and getting the goals and shots away. And I want to see Lundstrom back to what we've seen maybe about 3 weeks ago, where he was, where everybody was singing the praises of the guy that's going to get a contract. I just don't understand why we've reached this point of the season and we're starting to see this carry on. They're better than that, and it starts tomorrow night for me, mate. I hope that's the rock up bit, but I don't want to run on too much, mate. It's getting to that time of the night, so I'm going to get the final thoughts from Wardy, and then I'll jump to James for Tennessee. Wardy, final thoughts, mate.
Just go and show, prove yourself. You've already proved it. You can do it. Played better. By far, way better teams, and we've turned teams over. Commit 100% tomorrow night, and you'll win convincingly, and we'll take us further than we've ever imagined it to be. And we will be treble winners at the end of the season if they only put in 100%.
Brilliant. James, final thoughts, mate?
Yeah, very good show. A lot of excellent people you've got on the call tonight. I think you spoke wise words, and I think we'll win, I would say 3-0 tomorrow.
Like it, mate, like it. Thanks very much for phoning in, James, mate, and let's just keep the points coming and let us know about all these new signings coming our way, hopefully, mate.
Okay. Okay. Next time I'll make sure I'm not Mr. Universe.
Cool, mate. Robert, final thoughts, mate?
Yeah, good show, mate. Good to be on with yourself and Poet. Vital game tomorrow night, but it's important the players give us a reaction, but get us the 3 points, because this title race ain't over yet.
Right, mate. Port Bear, final thoughts?
Yeah, mate. Massive, great show tonight, mate. Massive night tomorrow night. Just go out there, like I say, shows what it means to you, how desperately you want this title, and absolutely smash Dundee, and then hopefully that'll kick us on to our second great run under Philip Clement, mate, to go and lift that trophy at the end of the season. Cheers, GB. Cheers, Robert. Great show, boys.
Brilliant, lads. Right, big thank you to the callers, Wardy and James. Great points, and let's just, lads, please, let's just keep contributing to the show. It's been great having you on tonight. Big thanks to the techie team, Fox and Old School Blue in the background there. Big thanks to Oxford helping with the calls. A big thanks to you two boys, Robert and Portbear tonight. Great, lads. Again, great input and great show. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow with our pre-match show for the game against Dundee. Come on, the Rangers. Let's do this.